Hello and welcome to another video. So we're taking a look at a pure Temple Haven deck. Of course, this isn't a variation on the Tenko decks or anything. This is just the original pure Haven Temple decks. They do fairly well still, even with all the changes with cards and whatnot. Been pretty great overall. I've had a fair bit of success with it, so I thought why not do a video on it. We are covering a lot of Haven decks because that is the class I have the most cards for that I can build different decks for, so hopefully you guys are at least enjoying that content. We're going to have probably another Haven deck coming up very soon because we do have the Tenko variant that's I've messed around with a little bit and found some better variants to work with, so we will be covering those. But I thought in the meantime we can cover the Heavenly Knight deck because it is a good deck, it still does well, and anyone who was playing pre the mini expansion should still have this kind of deck variant available to them, so why not? So we'll get right into this and check it out. So first up we are against Rune. Rune is just one of those classes in rotation where you don't really know what you're going to hit until you hit it. Like, I mean, you've got Earthrights, you've got the Chimeras, you've got at least, well, those two are probably the biggest two variants, but those two variants have a few sub-variants to them, which isn't too surprising. So we start off with a pretty decent hand, the Summit Temple and Heavenly Knight, both making a pretty good combination, and a Priest of the Cudgel just to deal with anything that could be a problem from turn 4 onwards. Which Summit Temple on turn 1 isn't bad in this deck. Being able to get it out is more favourable than playing nothing, especially if you can do it on turn 1. Mysterious Knowledge, not really any kind of threat to me right now. We're mainly going to be focusing on pushing these amulets, and there is Heavenly Aegis. Not the best card to get because you do want to be pulling those better with the Eithers, they're just so much better to use. Although it's not a bad card, it definitely does help you close games. So they are going for Circle. Looks like they're just trying to take it, which isn't a real problem for me. We can go for our Globe, try and get something else, don't see anything, go for the Carapace instead. That just sets up a board that should be quite nice. There is their Golem Assault, not making any play, so they are going to lose this Golem, only getting 2 damage off it. And we're pretty much free to make a play. Fortunately we don't get anything else, so not really that useful, but at least both our globes are out early for pretty much free at this point, and they don't have a target to use this Rune on, which means they aren't getting any value out of it, at least not overall. It does also mean they don't need the Evo, but we're not too concerned by that. Priest is going to remove this pretty much immediately for free, and due to having the Temple on board, we get some nice attack damage from these two followers overall, both having 5 attack. Of course, Missile, going face with it, not a bad option, and a nice Wind Blast. So the immediate Golem, really just buying time right now I guess, pushing out whatever we can. Really looking for any card that could deal with this. Lucky we get a couple of draws. And the Hind isn't bad, but the March Hare's Tea Time is just that little bit better. It's not affected by the Temple because it is a neutral card, so why not? Means even with its stat reduction, it's still going to be a 5 attack beat stick. And following that, we actually have a Heavenly Knight, so with them playing Nova Flare and a Moon and Sun, that's not really any threat to us. We can go for a 9 damage to face, pretty comfortably.
From the heavens above, justice is delivered!
What an eyesore!
Plus, with the nice boost, it's going to pretty much be able to kill anything at this point.
I'm shimmering!
So Amaterasu does at least give them that little bit of health back, which isn't too bad for them. And then Wind Blast just to clean this up nicely. A little bit of an odd combination to do, but I guess they were just looking to spell boost, so definitely makes sense to why they went in that direction. We do end up with our Banishment, which is pretty reasonable. I mean, if we include this Banishment, we stop them from doing anything, but we also don't really need to. I should have probably went with the Carapace first because having that be procced would have been a lot better, but I think we still did pretty alright. They are going to go up to 10 attack, but we should be able to drop our Heavenly Aegis for free next turn. So there is a nice 8-8 on board, which with either will actually be fairly good. Although we did have to take 7 damage. So we are going to be very close to dead at this point. Very big risk. Especially with that Tsukiyomi now. But we get the nice 8 damage. Beacon of Salvation allows us to pretty much remove this permanently now. I should have done that a lot sooner, honestly, being able to remove it. We do have to take another 7 though, so 2 health. Definitely a tight spot to be in. They only need the smallest amount of damage. Question is, we are both on 2, and with Heavenly Aegis, I initially have the advantage. Lucky for me, they don't seem to have any counterplay. So there it is, 8 damage to face, 4 lethal. Following on from that last match, we are going up against Haven. So a semi-mirror, more likely than not, this is going to be a Tenko Haven. That's the more popular variant in rotation right now, which we have covered, but we will be covering again, as I mentioned, very soon. A slightly different variant to the one we initially covered. Things have kind of been changed and refined in the last week or so since my previous video was made. Alright, so we get a pretty nice start with the Summit Temple. Again, a great way to go off on turn 1 in this deck in particular, because everything does take advantage of it pretty nicely. And it looks like we are free to play the Carapace.
Crystals of snow.
A Snow White usually would be a problem, but in this case it's just really not. We don't have any reason to really fear it, and now we have both Heavenly Knights, so we can pretty much guarantee a 14 damage burst with those. So now it's just kind of make it till we break it sort of situation.
This is the
There's
Lion's
Oceanus. The healing is going to be a problem though, because you really don't want them to be healing up. And Priest of the Cudgel, the perfect draw. It is going to allow us to use the Evo to remove both of these followers, while allowing the Turtle, or the Carapace, to be summoned. So that is a nice 10 damage right there, just for the turtles alone. Once you include Priest, it's even better. Of course, Hide, not a shocking revelation at all. And they're going straight for the turtle. But we're still pretty well off. We can comfortably play this Priest of the Cudgel without any issue. And go face for just a little bit of damage. I'm going to use this Priest though, just to remove this 5-4. I feel like that was probably one of the more average moves I could have made. The Evo on the Turtle might have been better, just for that little bit extra damage. And they're really searching hard with that Globe, and now another Hind. So they're using those most likely to try and pull their Tenko Shrines. That's what you tend to use Hide for in this deck now. You don't really need it for its evolve effects, or sorry, choose effects. You mainly just need it to search.
Crystals of snow.
So we get our Snow White, and we can just quite comfortably ram into that, just to lower it a little bit closer. Honestly, sending it to face probably would have been better, but we're not in the worst spot yet. Fortunately, Hind's effect isn't a clash. If it was a clash, I guess it would be even more of a pain. We're pretty comfortable to use this Heavenly Knight now.
From the heavens above, justice is delivered!
We can basically just ram that straight up, 9 damage. As long as I don't have any major healing, a second Heavenly Knight follow-up would close this game out. This is going to come down to if they have what they need. So they need to be able to heal at least 2 extra points this turn. And deal with this 9-4.
Justice can never.
And there is the Tenko Shrine, but doesn't look like any more healing, so that's perfect for us. We're going to be able to use the Heavenly Knight to close our game.
about, justice is delivered!
Even if they had a little bit of healing, we would have been pretty fine. We would have dealt the damage, played the either, done pretty comfortably in the following turns later. So, pretty nice games. So if you guys did enjoy this video, I do enjoy playing Haven. It's definitely one of my favorite classes or crafts to play. I have a lot of fun with these sort of ones that specifically go for like either amulet or healing decks. They are a lot of fun to play for me. So if you did enjoy this video, hit that like button and subscribe. As always, you will find the deck list in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.